What's up? Hello, hello, hello. Show me your faces. How is everyone? Want to hear some wins while we get to streaming and Brienne gets set up? Got some extra people over here that need to be remote.
I
Hello.
will always find something to contribute. Uh, so, Dr. Andrea and I, who I've been half calling Diva Drea or Doctera, because Doctor of the Earth is kind of fun. Anyway, she and I have definitely been collaborating and talking about future things to do together, and it's really a strong friendship that I'm grateful for. And then yesterday I went to Ecstatic Dance here in Nashville and ended up having lunch with three women who are in the tech field, tired of working at their jobs and eager for a new future. And they're coming over on Thursday night to talk about a vision I have, which is how women can thrive as the goddess alive. So even though it doesn't have to do, that doesn't have anything to do with the Diva Network, it is aligned with what I'm doing here. So
A win is a win, and it doesn't matter what part of your life you have a win. We want to celebrate all of the wins because that is important. It is important for us to make sure that we save space for even the tiny little things. And sometimes Jimmy yells at me because I celebrate things that he doesn't think are that fantastic. But you got to save space for those tiny little things too. Sometimes that one tiny little YouTube subscriber is a big freaking deal, and sometimes it is not. Yeah. Anyway, okay, that's fantastic. Let's get a couple more wins. Brienne, it's nice to see you. You want to take over?
Yeah, sure. Let's do this. How is everyone? Happy Monday. Let's get some energy going. Move your body, stretch. I always say you got to stretch your body to stretch your mind this morning. Stand up. I want to make sure the energy is high. So everyone stand up. I can tell if you're not standing, and if your camera's not on, it should be on. So let's stand up. Let's stretch up.
I can't even see if I'm in
As
the,
high as you can. Stretch, stretch, stretch.
where
We're
is
going to stretch today. We're going to stretch with numbers and momentum. Reach back, circle it up, move your body. The more you move your body, the more energy you're going to get. It's Monday morning, Monday afternoon for some folks. Let's come together, bring it in. Clap it out, move, move, move. Okay, couple more wins. Let's talk about a couple wins. Raise your hand digitally. Justine, tell us the win that you have this morning.
The California Divas got together on the gold carpet at an awards show last night for the Easy Awards. We made such a splash. Just first of all, we had so much fun and our energy was absolutely infectious. I think it's true when you enter a room with a bunch of women that are like super vibing on each other. It's like everybody noticed us and we created so much content. We made so many amazing heartfelt connections, both for personally for the California Divas, for the Diva Network. I'm texting like 5 or 6 or 7 people right now that we met last night, both in the space of charitable, the Better Vision for Children was the charity represented. We met the founder of that group. We met a globetrotter who is making movies, and it's just incredible. It was incredible. So I'm just so grateful to have gotten to hug these women, and I can't wait to hug all of you too at some point.
I love that. Thank you, Justine. I love your energy and what they say, right? We're going to talk about this today, but consistency compounds, energy compounds. So when you select the right people, the right audience, the right things to do, the right community, it's going to compound, right? So congratulations for being around women that are just ignite. I bet you the outsiders were like, who are they and how can I
Oh
be
my God,
that,
you wouldn't
right?
believe. They were like, everyone was coming up to us. The cameras were coming around just because we were like together, we were a group. It was
I
great.
love that.
It was great.
Justine was camera ready. She was like, come on, bring it.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay, Tanya, you have a win, and then Sheila, and then we're going to get started.
Thank you. I think Sheila's hand was up first, but I'll take it. Thank you, Sheila. Yes, Thank you for Metric Mondays. What I realized is that I kept keeping account of everything this week, not just the numbers with everything that we've been doing with Divas, but with my own business and people that I've been having conversations, inviting them to my networking groups, to my event. And so I've been keeping track of that every single day, but I did not fill it out in the school link. I need that school link to get into that habit again so that I can, type it in. I just have it in my Word document. I also kept track of food intake this week and my gym workout. So it was all about numbers. And taxes, I'm finishing up today. It's been a huge toleration for the past month. And I will share with anyone that's using ChatGPT something that occurred to me as I was going, because I haven't been diligent of keeping track, monthly of all my expenses and all these different things. So I uploaded all my Amex bills and I'm like, can you turn this into a CVS and just itemize everything? And if it's a recurring payment for every month, please put it in a CVS file. So I have it in a column. And when I discovered that, because it occurred to me, it's just going to shave off so much time for me. So if anyone else
love
is
it.
considering, use ChatGPT in whatever shape or form that you can, and it's
Yes.
putting it into Google Sheets. So
I
thank you,
love that,
Brianna, for
Tanya.
getting
Make
us
it,
started with numbers
yes,
and metrics.
make ChatGPT, make AI your best friend, humanize it, continue to evolve, make it yours. It will get to know you as well. Okay, we're gonna go with Sheila, tell us your win, and then we're gonna get started. By the way, y'all, we are changing the name slightly of Metric Monday, and I'll tell you that in a second when Sheila's done.
Appreciate that so much. And just piggybacking on what Tanya said, Tanya's known me since the beginning when I kind of started everything. So to finally just stop grabbing at stuff and sit down, and I did time studies this past week, just literally got off calls with VAs to start learning how to manage a team and open up some time so I can focus on my area to shine, which is talking and communicating, and I can get all that stuff in place. And, it is kind of like the slow down to speed up thing is easier said than done when you've got to slow down to train that team and really get everything in place to have that momentum to build forward. So thank you all so much for really making it real and sit down and implement together and give us that guidance to really put that in place. It's been brilliant. So thank you so much.
I love that, Sheila. That kind of reminds me, as we create momentum and metrics, there's these 4 Ds that I always talk about that might be able to help someone real quick. The 4 Ds is that you get to decide when things come towards you, because we're working on metrics and creating momentum and doing all of these things. You either do the task, you delegate it. So I want to say congratulations, Sheila, for saying, hey, delegation is actually the only way to scaling and growing. We get to dump it to say it's not that important. It's just probably fun, quick, and easy for me. And so that's why I want to do it, but you dump it or you delay it. You say, hey, this needs to occur, but it's not a highest priority for me. So we call it the 4Ds: do, delegate, dump, or delay. And that kind of helps with priorities as well. Okay, so today we are going to get into, it is Metric Monday. We are changing the name slightly. I like to say evolving. We're here together. We're doing this visibility challenge together. We get to constantly evolve, right? So we have evolved to the name of Momentum Monday. Metrics is part of momentum. It's not complete momentum though, right? We need the energy, we need the mindset, we need those things to occur to actually even be able to do our metrics. Yes, Marita's liking it. I see her clapping. We could do metrics all day, but if we can't get around the right mindset of metrics and we can't get around the right energy of metrics, we're probably going to stay flat. So as we start today, we're going to have a couple breakout sessions today about the metrics that we've created. But I also want to talk about, before, as we get started, what is the mindset of momentum? What is the mindset of metrics? So the first question I want you to just ask yourself and think about this for a second is to say, do I have a healthy relationship with metrics? Because here at the Visibility Challenge, we're doing more than creating visibility, right? These are behavior changing things. Some of us might love to do it. Some of us are repulsed by it. Some of us get itchy, perhaps allergic to it. But what is your mindset, or what is your health around metrics? Let's see what some people said. Put it in the chat when you can let us know, what is your health? Do you have a healthy relationship? Why or why not with metrics? Marita, fail or failure. If I actually say I'm going to measure something, or if I actually say I'm going to attain something, what if I don't? Jimmy says numbers don't lie, numbers are unemotional. Let's all get to a place where we're not emotional about numbers. And it's so, can I tell you this? When I'm coaching businesses, we go and we put their revenue on a scale, right? Like, how much did they achieve? Did they drop? And I'm like, what is this a graph of? And they're like, it's a graph of my revenue. And I'm like, actually, it's not. It's a graph of your emotions. There's so many business owners that are tied to how much money comes in my business. I'm either high or I'm failing. And they get so much, and they're like, oh my gosh, that's so true. Like, I remember March, I was so happy. I took my family on a vacation because we killed it in business. And then we crashed in May. And I said, no vacations for the rest of the year. Like, we allow our emotions to match, you know, metrics or numbers in our business. We want to be careful with that. But if we can make them non-emotional and strategic, it helps. Overwhelming. Thank you, Kim. It makes me slow down and be accountable. Sheila, that's a great one. Don't like to look. I'm in fear. If I don't look, they don't have to see anything. I don't have to see anything bad. Then I don't see progress either. So great self-awareness, Justine. Like, yes, I don't, it's overwhelming, but I actually, at the same time, I'm not seeing progress. Unhealthy relationship. So welcome to the club of very realistic. It is very realistic for business owners to be fearful of numbers and metrics, right? So I want to take us on this journey. And I would like for you to just, for a second, let it marinate that all metrics are is bringing to the your conscious, your desire to succeed, right? So it's literally when I know what where I'm going towards, I know my destination, I become far more conscious in my actions. And I'll just give the most simple, I said this one other time on the Diva, on a Diva talk, was if I want to know, I want to lose 30 pounds, right? I can clearly see it. And it's very healthy for me to know that I want to get on the scale and see that number move to 30 pounds down. If I have a healthy relationship with, it's just going to allow me consciousness. Am I going to put the cake in my mouth, or am I going to put this apple because I truly want to see minus 30? It allows it to come to conscious, and I start to make better decisions, right? So I notice all of the time, whenever I'm measuring something, I become more heightened and conscious of what I'm doing. I think I told you all I have indicators or metrics of my life besides business. One of the metrics are living in agape love. It's one of the things I literally hold myself accountable to every day. I can be in a situation with a specific individual or someone, and I immediately, subconsciously, I start talking to myself about, and I start judging that person. Potentially this happens with my mother-in-law sometimes, or other situations in my life. And I literally start judging, like, why does she do that? Like, what's her cult? Like, her culture is very different than mine, how she grew up. Thanks for the laugh, Savita. It's just true. Hopefully this isn't live online. But I literally immediately go into judgment. But because I have a metric for my life that says I don't live in judgment, I give agape love, I fully love without having to judge them, I literally shift my behavior towards her because it's something that I measure. So in that momentum of understanding what matters in my life and creating numbers that matter and items that matter in my life, I become more conscious. So I want to say today, as we get through understanding the metrics of our business, I want to put us in the mindset of I'm just shifting my behaviors to be more conscious of what my desires are, of what I'm getting in my life. Okay. So in saying that, we talk about this often, consistency compounds. Step by step by step, small steps will lead to large results. And so as we talk through this today, as we talked through it last week, where we're saying, hey, we're going to start measuring our impact. We're going to start measuring money in our life. Don't feel like you have to dive into the water in 12 feet water and you don't know how to swim. It is okay to take it at a pace that's comfortable for you. Because why? Because if not, you'll be paralyzed. You'll go into a state of feeling stuck and be like, Brianne, I saw this sheet last week. I didn't do it because it was a lot. So I'm going to I'm going to invite you just to start, okay? Who is he? Actually, if you are able to put your cameras on, because we are going to have discussions today, if you're in the room, be visible here. I'm going to challenge you, be visible, be online. We're going to go into having some discussions, and it's really hard to have a discussion if you don't know if someone's here or not. So before we go into breakout rooms, last week we went over KPIs, or key performance indicators, metrics that we're going to do in this space to start making a difference, because we're in a visibility challenge for what? Raise your hand if you know why we're in a visibility challenge for these 90 days. Okay, Michelle, unmute and tell us why we're in this visibility challenge for 90 days.
To get more visible and to figure out what that is. And so we need metrics to be able to figure out, are we being more visible?
Yes. And we have defined in this space that we're going to go into two places. The metrics that we're going into is for impact and for dollars, right? That's where we're going to start with our metrics. So what I'm going to do is I want to know how many people, and JKN is putting in the where you can report your metrics every week. One thing that I was hearing was that it was hard to just do your weekly metrics. Did anyone find it challenging this week to do their weekly metrics? Did anyone find it easy peasy besides, I think it's Ed, might have found it easy peasy. Anyone, including Ed, who found it really easy to do your metrics this week? Okay, it's not always easy. So what I'm going to do really quick is I'm going to share a sheet. If this is your first time, don't worry. When we go into breakout rooms, we're going to go into breakout rooms for about 10 minutes in a little bit. And when we go into breakout rooms, if you have not heard these before, don't worry, don't get lost. I'm going to go through it when everyone goes into the breakout rooms. I'm going to share my screen. And I want to, just like I said, your mindset of small steps. So forget about the week that you got a report and let's focus on the day. So I made a quick little Google sheet. And by the way, here's my mindset. How many people can say, I'll never be good at Google Sheet or Excel or spreadsheets? I'm not a spreadsheet person. It is so easy to hold that as an excuse. I literally told myself I want to become a master of metrics and numbers, and I need to do it in an easy way. So I just need to learn. So I want you to release the thought of, I'm never going to be good at numbers. I'm never going to be good at a spreadsheet. And I want you to embrace, if I can learn a simple spreadsheet, the compounding excitement of numbers, I swear it gets better. So I literally have a team that can like throw sheets together like crazy. I specifically did this one myself so I could have the experience of where I'm failing and where I'm getting better to help you. I'm like, I don't want just someone else to build it. I'm going to build it. And so I made it a little bit more robust about how I track in an easier way, but someone asked me for it last week. So I'm like, I'm going to go ahead and build this to prove that anyone can make a spreadsheet. So I'm going to show you, instead of thinking about doing it an entire year, I want you to think about, let me pull this up. I want you to think about, can I just do today? One step at a time. Okay. So this might look to somebody, Sheila, I can see you on my screen. Can you see my shared screen? Okay. Thank you. So here's just a simple, and you'll all have access to this Google Sheet, but here is just a simple way to track what you do every day. And if it's 0, you put 0, but you start to get into a rhythm, a nice rhythm of, I'm going to show up for myself. I don't want to show up for the DIVA Network and visibility and creating compounding things, and I don't even know if I'm gaining success. So I'm going to start with this simple sheet, and anything in green. Here's an example, right? So here's an empty one. Here's everything in green. Anything in green, you'll put your numbers in on a daily basis. So if it was Monday, I'd want to put in lives impacted. If you haven't been here before, don't worry. We have a sheet for it. We're going to completely tell you what lives impacted mean. Lives impacted typically mean one-on-one conversations, direct communication with someone. Like, so today on this call, say there's 24 lives impacted for me because I'm educating is 24 people in the next hour. So I would just go into my sheet and add 24. The ripple effect was, if I asked you all, can you all share one thing that you've learned today with someone that you know so they can measure something in their personal life or financial life to get it better? And everyone said yes. That means I'd have 24 there too. It's the compounding thing that we don't want to forget about, because if we only measure what we touch, we don't have crazy global impact, right? So anyway, you would come in on Monday and you would just put the things that you measured. And there's a whole, if you haven't received it, there's a complete explanation of what all of these things mean. Did I get any leads in my business today? Did I convert any customers today? And just step by step, this is a good balance of visibility and business metrics. If it's white, you do not put anything there. There's a formula and it will calculate for you. So if I had one lead and I converted one, I had 100% conversion. So if it's in white, you don't touch it. Dollars generated for myself, say it was $300. Dollars generated for others was $4,500. So there's complete explanation of all these things. I'm not going to jump into that again today. But that would be how you would just fill out Monday. When you come to total for the week, it's white, so it's going to automatically do it for you. And then every week you would just want to put, what is your goal for the by the end of May 2nd. You can copy and paste this every week because your goal shouldn't really shift too much. So May 2nd, I want to touch 2,000 lives. I want to double that and the ripple effect of lives impact, right? I want to make sure I have 60 leads and I want to convert 30 of them to have a 50% conversion rate. So I can get 60 leads, I sell 30 of them. That means I have a 50% conversion, right? I make $30,000 in my business by the time we get to May 2nd, and I make $60,000 for community or other people. It's just something to start thinking about. You will automatically total, the total to date will end up here. So if you're on week 3, it will tell you your total and it will tell you your percentage to goal. So if I'm if I'm moving towards May, it is March, what's today? March 3rd. I'm only 3.6% of the way there. I better go ahead and start making more impact in people's lives because I got 77% more to go, right? But I love that you can see your percent to go. Remember those things that we used to do, like charity work, and we would color the temperature gauge to say we're getting to 100% of the way there? That's how you create momentum. You create momentum by having a target of what you're getting to and you're going to make it happen. So that's just do not get super complicated. Now, I want to tell you, if you get confused and something happens, use your friend ChatGPT. I'm going to give you an example. I need to add some cells together on Google Sheet. What is the formula? If a formula gets messed up, it'll tell you exactly how to make that sum happen. So just learn. Don't be intimidated. Just say, I'm going to ask ChatGPT more than I'm going to ask Google. It's going to give me directions. There's multiple ways that you can just add a formula in and just say, tell me step by step. I don't even know where to start. You can continue to do that. Don't be afraid of spreadsheets. Don't be afraid. If you want to start with just lives impacted, leads, and number of conversions, do that. And then on your report, put 0 for everything else. But just get started. Okay? We're going to go through any questions because just a reminder, do not touch anything in the white. So you'll come in here and I'm going to give this to JKN and she'll be able to share it with everyone. So that way, I just want to make sure that we protect the cells in that JKN, but I'll give you this file and then we can send it out to the Divas so they can make their own copy. But I'm going to stop sharing and we're going to kind of share as a group how we're creating momentum. And so when the big picture is too much, take a slice of today and just do it, right? So what questions do we have or comments so far?
I have 2 comments.
Yes.
1, did I hear you say that you are not a spreadsheet expert?
Yes.
So when you told me you made this last week, I just assumed it was your thing. I was like, oh, cool. I had no idea that you were taking super messy action, because to create a tracker for other people to use for long term, complete with formulas and thinking it out, that's cool. I am very appreciative that you took it off my plate, but the fact that that's not your thing, that's like cool times 10. And the second thing that I wanted to say is I need to give a huge shout out to 4 people. Jennifer, I don't know, Cassavant, is that how you say her last name? But Jennifer, Johnny Lloyd, Emily Young, who I think is here, and Marita. They all turned they they turned their stuff in, and they did it well before
Awesome.
midnight on Sunday. So you guys are amazing. Good job.
Yes. I want to encourage you, if you miss a day, but by the way, first, congratulations. If you miss a day, get started the next day. Just put zeros that day. Like, just get started, right? And thank you, JK. And I will tell you, like, I've learned some about spreadsheets, but I used to have adverse reactions. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, I'd be like, I'm not touching this. I'm going to outsource it. I'm paying somebody else to do it. That's why I have a team. And I was like, what if I just learned like an easy way to do it? And it's actually fun for me. So I was like sitting on the couch messing with it while I'm watching reality TV, once an hour a week. And I'm like, I like to multitask. But it's become fun because I've learned it. And so, okay, Ed, tell us your question or thoughts.
I just want to share about the metrics, just another way to look at it. I use this analogy, like doesn't hit for younger people nowadays because they don't really get mail in the mail, but you used to get bills and you'd be like, oh, I'm not ready for that. So you don't open the bill, but that doesn't make the bill go away. You still receive the bill. The bill's still due. It's kind of the same thing here. The numbers are the numbers. They're happening whether you're looking at them or not. But by looking at them, by tracking them, by looking at your metrics, you're able to celebrate your wins. Sometimes you're doing better than you thought, and you're like, oh, I'm actually doing pretty good. So you can celebrate that, especially when you're building, an organization or with teams. And then also, if you're not winning the way you want to, the numbers are going to tell you that. So you have time to course correct. Because the last thing you want to do is go to the end of a program that ends May 2nd and start looking at, 4 or 5 days ahead of time, like, oh my gosh, I'm so far behind. If you look at it weekly, daily, you're going to have plenty of time to course correct to get where you want to go. And then I love the sharing them up. I did not, crazy weekend with travel coming up, making excuses here for my own lack of planning to get my metrics in. But by putting those metrics in and knowing that other people are looking at them, that kicks into like the Hawthorne effect, where just the study, just knowing that somebody else is watching what you're doing increases productivity. So just turning in your metrics, whether they're good or bad, knowing somebody's watching you subconsciously, it's going to bring more effort out on you to do more, to do better. And I think about that all the time. So anytime I have an opportunity to report, because I kind of run our reporting for our business, I don't have anybody to report to other than Kim, but I like that accountability because I know then that I'm going to work harder to keep those numbers increasing. So I just wanted to share that my mindset on it. It's not that I just love spreadsheets and numbers and metrics. I know when you run something like a business, it's part of it, and it does make a huge difference overall.
I love that. Thank you for that. That's a great reminder. And we are watching, right? JCAN is giving reports of like this person completed. This is the impact we're making. And also at the DIVA Network, when we have all of that information, we can tell that to a lot of people. We can tell that to investors. We can tell that to community members. We can tell that to nations, the impact that we're making here when we have those metrics. So it's not just individual, it's the compound effect of what we can do as a community. Last thing I want you to do is write this down real quick. We're going to jump into rooms for 10 minutes, and then we'll come back, close up, and then go into VIP. So write this down. When I do not know my metrics, it tends to start with fear. And I heard that a lot in the chat. From fear, it is then what happens after that is uncertainty, overwhelm, anxiety, and paralysis. Those are true things that happen. Like when we stall on doing our taxes, when we stall on, am I even profitable in this business? Am I even, like, when we just close our mind and just hope it's all going to be okay, it's actually making us super unhealthy. What happens now on the other side of it is that on the opposite side of fear is clarity. When we get clarity, we then figure out direction. When we have direction, we can make decisions. It's very objective decisions versus emotional decisions. Like, I think I should do this. I have no idea. So it's decisive decisions, right? Then we get it done. We actually move and get it to a place of the best word on earth, completion. And the completion is what increases our confidence to then go out and build a business, because we know we're making the right decisions, we're growing, we know what we did right, what we did wrong. So I just want to encourage you to get into a space of clarity versus fear, so that compounding effect of what we feel, what we do, what we get done, the results that we have are there. So quickly, JKN, if we can put everyone into partner groups, let's just do this for maybe 8 minutes in group together. I just want you to discuss what it felt like this week going into metrics. Just quickly, not even half the time, talk about what it felt like, but we're not going to live in the past. So just say, it felt like this, and this is what I'm committing to moving forward. So with an accountability partner, make sure that we're in forward momentum motion, not stuck in the past. Today, mostly everyone has been here before, so we're just going to stay in this room and kind of tackle what questions you have to assure that we're all getting into motion together. Sound good? Good idea. Show me your hands if that's a good idea. Do I have to make you get up and dance again? Okay, we have 2 people with their hands up. I just want to say my biggest takeaway was someone didn't have a partner, so they jumped back into the main room with me. And one thing that she said, it was Emily, if I could, she said that one thing that really changed this week for her, which I loved, was she was actively looking to help and create impact. Like it became this like, Emily, why don't you say it? You say it better because it's your life.
Yeah, so I said it was, I help people, but I don't really track it. And it's also if something occurs that in before the metrics was like, okay, yeah, I helped them. But now it's like, okay, I have 2 people I want to impact today. Who will it be? And I'm just like, okay, who can I help? So it's that now is so now it's a new habit, right? So our life is full of paradigms and habits. And now this is a different habit of, hey, intentionally looking for someone and intentionally working toward those metrics. And then if I don't meet the 2 people, I don't meet, I don't talk to the 2 people, then that's okay, right? So then the next day, okay, let's do it again. Look for those 2 people. It's the momentum of being intentional, seeking, and then just keep doing, and then get rid of the I didn't finish this, I didn't get to whatever. So just keep moving.
I love that.
metrics.
Just taking steps. And I love that you're actively seeking. That literally is the point of metrics, is that it's become part of that. We're going to have Marita go next. Raise your hand if you have a question or need clarity to start this new week, to get momentum. And I can coach live in this room for a few minutes, or I can answer questions. And then we're going to go over some of the things you talked about in your breakout room. Marita, and then Sheila's on deck. You're on mute, dear.
I apologize. So Alora and I, we were paired up, and what we discovered is that talking about the fear helps to break it down, helps to realize that before we went into the breakout rooms that wow, I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one that has this fear, this anxiety, or fear, anxiety, overwhelm, what have you. And that we're here, we're learning about this. And that Alora had addressed, 150 people. And I said, well, what about the ripple effect and how that has impacted? And even though it doesn't really, she may not know how it can convert, she's planting seeds. We're all planting seeds, right? And so we want to nourish those seeds, and just by talking to those people again, reconnecting with them. So
I absolutely love that. Well done, ladies. And the thing with that is that you're so true. You might not know exactly what the ripple effect means. Emily asked that question as well. But if you were able to bring a woman into the DIVA network and she became part of the network, and you say, hey, can you share it with 10 friends to come? Can you have 10 other women show up? Or you educate on something, you say, hey, can you share this with your family? Like, it really is a commitment to have other people share when they're growing. Especially if we know that we're learning all this valuable stuff, right? Great job. Sheila, you're up. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you. Thank you. And, just piggybacking on what Emily said, like, and Emily's an introvert. Every time I tell her about these events, she's like, not really my thing. I'm a networker like crazy. I run my mouth everywhere. And Emily's actually the one who seeded me to go to my first personal development event years ago. And if that seed wouldn't have been planted, that first invite wouldn't have been planted, I wouldn't have snowballed to learn about Napoleon Hill. And then to be here, to pull that one call from Adora's calendar to open up what is existing right now. So you don't even understand, it is hard to do the metrics because there is such a ripple effect so far beyond than what we could ever know. But, I always think about like Emily being such the quiet one. And she's the one who's really, just because of her saying that one invite, opened up all this other things that I grew myself to be open to receive. So thank you, Emily. And yes, you've made huge impact.
I love that. Well done, Sheila. Well done, Emily. Okay, anyone else have a comment on what they shared in the breakout rooms? Because if not, I'm going to go to the final question of the day. Okay, Kim, please share.
I was with Michelle and we did it like if you get, I guess what in your head, what you truly want to measure and not make it so complicated, and just like keep it simple and stick to what was on the columns of your spreadsheet, then it will be a lot better because I was overthinking things and getting overwhelmed. So then I just wouldn't do it. And I'm like, well, I was on a Zoom, 3 Zooms with these people that do I count them 3 times today or do I count them 1 time? So it's like, just narrow it down and stick to it.
I love that, Kim. And you know what's funny is that you might think, like, say you're gonna say how many people I in front of today, and you're like, okay, I served 22 people today, and the next day is 2, and the next day was 40, and then one day soon, like in May, you're like, I literally impacted 440 lives with conversations. You would never know that. You would never even be able to tie that kind of confidence to that. That's what momentum is. It's actually being able to have facts to say, I'm doing these things that are creating impact in dollars and wealth in my life and for other people. So I absolutely love that. What I like to do for our last little segment here is I'm going to share my screen one more time, and I want everyone. We're in a rolling commitment here. Michelle, I'll get to you in 1 second. We're in a rolling commitment. So we don't just come here to talk it, look it, smile at each other, and have cool pink backgrounds, right? We're going and we're moving and we're creating momentum. So I want you to tell me as I share my sheet one more time, is write down your piece of paper first because we're going to put it in the chat, but I want you to be clear for you to leave here today, March 3rd. We have 2 more months, about 2 more months left at this. So I want to know, starting today, out of these columns, B, C, D, E, F, H, I. This is automatic. This is just going to tell you percentage. Which ones are you going to start measuring starting today? All would be wonderful. If it just feels like too much and you just want to say, how many lives do I directly impact? How many leads do I get in my business? And how many do I convert? Is a great place to start. B, E, and F could be a great place to start and then go right into money. H. So if you're just really new at this, I would encourage start with lives impacted, leads coming in my business, number of conversions, and how much money am I making? Yet, if you want to do all of them, I'm going to give you an amen, sister, an amen, sir, a high five. But I want you to give a commitment on what you're going to start doing today. What I'm going to do, because we have time, a few minutes anyway, is I'm going to become your accountability partner. Let me look at one thing first. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 7 things that we could be measuring. So let me pull you back up. Sorry, I was over here. I'm going to pull it back up. I'm going to run through the room, and we're going to give, by the way, this is live on Facebook and it's recorded, y'all. So talk about like triple accountability. We're going to keep moving today. So I'm going to start with Emily. Out of the 7, Emily, we got to be quite quick with this, but just tell me what you're going to start measuring today. And if it's nothing, by the way, we still love you. We accept you. We want you here. Yet if you want to start with 1, that's okay. 0, just, I'm not going to say 0 is okay because it's not. At least 1. Emily.
Is that for this week?
Starting today, what are you doing for this week? And you get to turn it in. Any of them that you do not measure, just put 0 for now on your weekly sheet. We all have a weekly sheet that we get to pass in. When do we pass in our weekly KPI indicator? By Sunday?
Midnight.
11:59.
Yes, Emily, you got it. She does like detail. So Emily, how many are you going to commit to starting to track today?
I'm gonna do, I definitely lives impacted. And I want to do leads generated. But here's my real quick question. How do you determine if the number you're giving is just kind of enough and you tell us to go stretching beyond? So that's where I don't know if, because I don't want to
I
be
know my general rule of thumb.
Yeah.
This is just my general rule, is that what do I feel comfortable with? I want it to be realistic. And then I add 20%. So I'm comfortable plus a little, because I don't want to be comfortable. That's just a to-do or a task. I want to go and stretch myself. So I usually add 20%. If I'm comfortable with 10, I'll probably add 2 more.
Okay, so you want the numbers, right?
I just want to know, what are you going to measure starting this week? Lives impacted, leads. If you do leads, I would say conversion is necessary, because then leads mean nothing if you don't know your conversion rate. So if you're getting those leads in, I want to know how many you're turning into sales. Anything else you're going to measure this week?
I'll just do lives impacted for this
Lives
week.
impacted is your one this week?
Yep.
Okay. Sheila, go stretch her after we get off the call to have her do at least 2 more.
I'm taking her to
All right.
events with me.
Okay, we're gonna run through this really quick. I want you to tell me fast, and I would love for us to, we've grown friendships here. I want to kind of know to hold each other accountable and talk about this when we're off. We only have an hour together, but you have tons of time that you're meeting separately too. That's what we do as a DIVA Network. We create community. So I'm gonna go to Dr. Andrea, and Ed's on deck. And we're gonna quickly tell me what you're gonna measure this week.
Yes, lives impacted, community growth, and ripple effect.
Well done.
Thank you.
Looking forward to seeing that. Ed's up and Michelle's on deck.
Yeah, I want to track everything, especially in my day-to-day business. Those are things that I need to be tracking daily anyway. So my plan is all 7.
Well done. And truly, when you see lives impacted, that means that you're probably creating a lot of activity that will lead to your leads, conversion, and dollars, right? Love it. Okay, Michelle, you are up and Kim is on deck.
I'm going to do everything except for I right now. And I just have to say thank you, Brianna, because you've given me a new one to get impact for the generate revenue. So thank you.
Yes, well done. Kim, you're up. Laura, you're on deck.
I'll say 4 of those because it's already too overwhelming. So
Great.
I'll put to 4.
Love it. And Kim, specific is terrific. So I'm not going to leave the 4 up to you. I need you to tell me the 4 you're going to do.
All right. Lives impacted, community growth, leads generated, and dollars generated.
Okay, I'm going to challenge you to do conversion, because I don't want you to ever have leads and not know if you're closing them, because that would be a waste of getting people to say yes if you're not closing. So that would be a heightened skill that you'd have to do. So I would say
what the conversions, what is tied to the conversion?
Yep. So say you get 10 leads, you have 10 conversations to close. Like, it's people that are interested. You have 10 conversations. Conversions just mean how many said yes and paid.
And those are the 2 that make the percentage go up, right?
Yep. Those are the 2 that will make the percentage up. So if I have 10, I close 5, it's going to give me a 50% that I know that 50% of people that come to me for service, if I close at 50%, it's good to know those numbers so we can up our sales skills.
Perfect.
Well done. So we went from 4 to 5, Kim, just like that. Alora's up and Sheila on deck.
Okay. I'm going to measure lives impacted, ripple effect, community growth, leads, and conversion.
Well done. Then in a couple of weeks, we're going to measure money, because all of that activity is going to give you a plethora of dollars, Alora. So I can't wait to see what all of that does for your dollars and your community dollars. So well done. Okay, let's see. Sheila, you're up, and Savita, you're on deck.
Yeah, I'm still learning how to track things, so I don't even remember what all the options were.
Okay, I'm going to show it again, and then I'm going to continue to go.
Do.
Okay, I'll show that. And while you look at that.
All right, I'd say leads generated, number of conversions, because the other ones, I feel like, knowing that ripple effect, even what Emily did, it makes me try to overthink it. And so I want something more concrete with the number of conversions kind of thing.
Great. Just so you know, lives impacted is direct, immediate conversation. So that's pretty objective.
Okay.
Ripple can be subjective. But lives impacted means I had a direct conversation, educated someone, gave them a resource, gave them a tool, connected them to somebody. I would invite you to go through the first time that we taught this, and it will show you exactly how to come up with what those things mean to you. But you're exactly right. Start where you feel comfortable, so then you can grow. So really good job. Savita's up and Dan's on deck.
Hello, 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 my beautiful
Hi, Savita.
people. For me, it is lives impacted and community growth. That's what I'm going to try.
Great. Why did you pick those two?
Because I walked today and I spoke to so many people. So I'm just going to start speaking to more people. And I love community. Like I said, I just love people. So, but yeah, that's
Well done. Great job. Okay, Dana's up and Marita is on deck.
Well, I need to work on better tracking systems for all these things. So it's going to start out simple with lives impacted. And I guess my question is, well, you said the ripple effect is somewhat subjective. I can define that how I want. It can be hard to measure because you don't know how many people others impact unless they also join your team or something. But it gets even harder when you get to dollars generated for others. Any suggestions on how to be aware of that?
Sure. This happens most frequently with coaches and people that are growing organizations. The ripple effect, let me say, number one, is I base it on commitment. So if I teach, I educate, if I was to ask everyone in this room to go home and ask someone you love, a client, to start measuring one thing in their life that's important, whether it's their weight, their activity, their number of times they work out, their commitment to spiritual awakening, whatever it is, impacting lives. And I got all of you to say, yes, I'm going to teach one person about how metrics matter in their life. Hey, let's do it. How many people in here will have this conversation with one person today about how metrics matter in your life? Raise your hand. Okay, we have 7. So if you're giving me the commitment, I want to ask you that, like that is important to me. The ripple effect of taking this information and sharing it with other people to impact their life. Just have that one conversation. I will take that as truth because we have a relationship that is trusted. And so I'm going to add those 7 people to the ripple effect. And I'm going to ask that you hold your side of the deal and just have one conversation about how metrics matter personally and professionally. So like it literally is just an ask of who would you share this with. Got it? And then I would say dollars generated. A lot of times if you're growing other people, you ask, what is the economic gain that you had from working with me this week or this session? Or I love translating it to economic gain. So for instance, this week I had one session with a client. She has we had one meeting with her a global entity, and she saved $187,000 by that conversation. And so we were able to say, boom, $187,000 on my impact, right? Because she was able to save that. So I made sure that I was clear about the numbers, and very similar to what Emily said, I asked the question boldly because I wanted to make sure that I knew that I was creating an impact in her life of $187,000. And then what does that do? It increases my confidence to say, who am I going to save $250,000 next, right? Like you start getting confidence when you know numbers. Okay, awesome. Marita is up. Thank you, Dan, for participating. So you said lives impacted and ripple effect, correct? Is the 2 places you're starting, Dan? I just want to clarify with Dan. I'm giving myself balloons.
Lives impacted is what I'm focusing on
lives
first.
Impacted.
And
Perfect.
then tracking systems for the rest.
Awesome. Thank you. Marita's up. Tanya's on deck, and we got to wrap up quick. So let's go quick.
Yes, lives impacted. And I'm going to have I know who I'm going to be speaking to today about metrics, how metrics matter.
Thank you for that commitment. I appreciate you and value you. Let's go.
Thank you. Likewise.
Tanya, you're up, and Jillian, you're on deck.
All of them. If I'm already tracking one, I might as well track all of them.
Yes. Okay, Solani, you are up, and Talita, you are on deck.
I will start with the lives impacted for this week.
Great. Just get started. And then Talita. And I think Justine had to kind of
Brianna, I'm sorry, but I just want to let you know, Talita is her first time, so she may not understand. Just to let you know, I invited her. Welcome, Talita. But it's her
Thank you.
can share more, but I don't know if she want to share. I'm just letting you know why she's coming today, first time.
Yes. Welcome, Talita. So happy to have you here. If you'd love to share, you can give a quick share.
Thank you. No, I'm not sure what I'm doing, so I'll just pass this on.
You can just say hello to everyone. Where are you located, Talita?
Hi, everyone. I'm in Akron, Ohio.
Okay, awesome. Well, happy to have you. And I think Justine is tied up and we got to wrap up the session for the day. So I'm going to end with one thing. A lot of people selected lives impacted, and I love that. Why? Because we're in an environment and community of impact, yet don't have the fear of dollars. Money will move when you, right? What gets measured gets mastered. So typically we'll put money last, we'll put the hard things like conversion last, and we'll start with the easy thing. That's okay. I love that you're getting started. Just don't hide from the facts of conversion and the facts from results in dollars. So just get started this week and then continue to compound. It's just wonderful to take the first step because each step will compound. Really quick to add to end today, we always like to create value at the DIVA Network, making sure that we're creating sustainable change and transformation in your life and value. So we always like to ask, and we want you to do the same thing whenever you educate, whenever you're in front of someone creating impact, make sure it's worth their time, right? So for the investment of time that you gave today, in the bottom in the chat, please put on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 saying, I wish I did not show up today. Brianne, I would have rather been in my bed. Even though it was hard conversations, I wish I didn't come. A 1 is not worth it. A 10 is, I'm so glad that I showed up for myself. It was valuable. The information, the people, the community was valuable. And if it was valuable, let's just double check in the chat. 1 to 10, where are you at today? How valuable was this session? We have 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 100. Yes, someone likes metrics. 10 times 3, Andrea, let's go. Michelle said 100, 10 for Emily with some fire. She's on fire. She's ready. 10 for Emily, 10 for Dan. I love it. If it was a 10, the last number that I would like you to give a commitment to, besides the commitment you gave me for the ripple effect, to tell other people that getting into momentum is with metrics, is giving the commitment of how many people you will invite and show up here tomorrow so we can continue to grow this space. The more people, the more impact, the more opportunities we have to meet other people. So give a commitment to how many you're going to invite and show up tomorrow. Alora is bringing someone. Kim is bringing someone. Dr. Andrea is bringing 3. Continue to write those in there. Ed is going to bring 1. Tanya 1. Michelle 1. Awesome. It has been a delight to lead you today. I wish you all a great Monday. We'll see you later. Well, we'll see you tomorrow if you're here. I'm not sure if I'm here, but go get it. What is the word of Monday?
Momentum.
Momentum. Let's go. Momentum Monday.
Thank
Get it
you.
going. Get it going.